Hate speech, according to Oxford Dictionary, is the abusive or threatening language to a person based off of their group of belonging, which includes religion, race, culture, ethnicity. Um, Hate speech is everywhere. And as a minority in America, I've dealt with this from as early as 12 years old, where kids would call me monkey, slave, or they said that it was my dad that died in the news. Um, One thing I noticed is that hate speech is everywhere. It's unavoidable. It's very painful, but it can be combated. Um, People have to live with the words that you say. Hate speech has an effect on the human being, and it's really painful. It puts a toll on you. It can lead to depression, suicidal thoughts, a feeling of worthlessness. I mean, not the misunderstanding of life and friendships and so much more. Um, no one should have to deal with this, but we still do. For some reason, it is tolerated. And one thing that we've all seen is that it's protected by the First Amendment. I have the right to speech. I have the right to say whatever I want, and and that for sure is clearly an abuse. Um, One thing we can clearly see is that hate speech usually comes before violence. Now, socially speaking, let's say before a fight breaks out, no one just goes in there and throws a punch. What happens is that they start talking first. You know what I mean? And they say offensive things. They say whatever they want to say. And that's when the violence usually comes. Now, historically speaking, um, let's use the Holocaust for example, because it's a pretty wide, it's a really known and sad event. Before the invasion and before everything happened, Germans were referring to Jews as vermin, rats, and scum, and all of the above, which was just terrible. And you see where that led to, which leads to my main point: combating hate speech. Hate speech should not be tolerated. You should not deal with it. You should know how to fight it. You should know how to combat it. And with saying that, one thing we can most definitely say is that education is key. Not saying this to be cliche, but you have to educate yourselves. It's sad that we have to, but as a minority or as someone who goes through hate speech, we all must educate ourselves so that we won't deal with this in the future. And this is through logic, and the reason why we must educate ourselves so we can have logical arguments with people. Because usually when it comes to conversations like this, you don't have the right to be mad or emotional. We all have the right to be so in that case, but it doesn't really get you anywhere. And this is the part where we have to voice ourselves and speak up about our equality and diversity, and how it's essential, and how we need it, and how it's important. Um, and one thing we have to train ourselves is so ignorance doesn't beat logic. We should not let ignorance beat logic. And the reason we need to stop this from happening is because that's what happens in most conversations, where you make a valid point, but maybe you didn't word it in the best way, and because of that, someone just says something that is not really relevant, or it says that's why I did this, or that's why I said this, so and in that situation, you know what I'm saying, you can't even get a word off. You can't. I mean, and that's why we have to prevent ignorance from being logic, and we do this by first is education. Not only that, standing up for each other, joining forces, spreading awareness, and teaching acceptance. All this stuff is necessary in order to attack this problem, as well as pressuring the ones in control to attack this problem from its core. Because again, this is everywhere, and it's up to you if you want to see it or not. Lastly, organizations that attack this problem, a pretty big one is the Southern Poverty Law Center. They've done some great things. Besides from writing in really intense articles of 10 ways to fight hate speech, which is a fantastic article and clearly goes down what you need to do. They have an extremist group database, and the hate map of where they're all located. So you can probably prepare yourselves, and you can know the arguments you will get into when you deal with, or when you move into situations, or when you go places. Another place that does a great job at trying to prevent hate speech is Berkman Klein Center, Internet and Society at Harvard University. They wrote a fantastic article, and they keep writing articles like this. But the one I would suggest is Combating Hate Speech Through Counter Speech. Fantastic article about why we need to educate ourselves, and how to limit hate speech and prevent it by, again, teaching acceptance, spreading awareness, joining forces. Lastly, the last organization, nonprofit organization, that adds to eliminating hate speech is the Leadership Conference Education Fund. Now they have an online fund, and they send people to school, which is fantastic, especially minorities. And they wrote another fantastic article about the title of it is "Online Hate Speech is Pervasive. Here's how to combat it." So these are all manuals that go really, really in depth of how to deal with this. And I feel like with the proper education, with the proper awareness, this is something that we can all do. And another article that I've seen was Stomp Out Bullying, and they wrote a specific article that's this may be the best article for hate speech, was what can we do about hate speech. And they just go through a bullet point of things and explain it in detail, and explain it in a way that we can all get it, and through the use of rhetoric or whatever you need. In conclusion, I just feel like there's a lot of terminology that we count as hate speech, and we need to be more aware, and we need to understand how we're hurting people. And with that being said, we need to be more careful. We need to be more self-aware. We need to realize what we're doing, and how powerful our words are, and we need to minimize it. We need to eliminate it from our vocabulary. With that being said, thank you for listening to my speech. Have a great night.